Hello everybody and welcome to another video. So last week I did a video on Guild Wars 1 and namely on the fact that despite the game, the franchise is now 10 years old. ArenaNet didn't seem like they were doing anything to the first game. We weren't really getting any acknowledgement that this was something special besides the fact that the event was being extended by 1 week. I actually since then have seen on the Guild Wars 1 Guru forums, the old place to be, as Guild Wars 1 never actually had its own dedicated forum. Quite a lot of upset people over there, and a lot of people very disappointed. Well, it turns out very quickly after I did that video, the Guild Wars 1 Twitter, yes, they do have their own separate Guild Wars 1 Twitter account, actually started posting pictures. Here's the first tweet that they threw out. This was on the 18th, I believe, the same day I did my video, maybe a day after. They said, to celebrate the Guild Wars 10 years anniversary, we'll be tweeting one memory from the game a day for each year. So we're going to be getting 10 pictures, and they say thanks to all the fans here. So this is the first one we get here. This is of pre-searing Ascalon, pretty cool, obviously where it all begins. Ascalon before it was devastated by the Char, and of course before it became owned essentially by the Char in Guild Wars 2. We scroll on, they get another image. They say this is an image for 2005, Guild Wars Prophecies is released. And this is the box art of the Necromancer Eve. Eve was one of the primary henchman characters from the first game. Actually, and if you were to go back and watch the LP, you'll find me discover this for myself. Of the 5 core characters, like the original Destiny's Edge for the first game, she was very shoehorned in, barely appeared in any quest, had very, very little dialogue, and seemed to just be slipped in at the last few moments. Maybe suggestive of the Necromancer as a class, I don't know. We're moving on, then the next year, of course, we had 2006, we had Guild Wars Factions released, and here's some box art here. And actually, this is Factions box art depicting Vizu, I believe, or maybe just some generic assassin character. And then they actually say here in the tweet, followed by Nightfall on October 27th. When everyone talks so much about Guild Wars 1 and how much content came out, really, it was only in 2006 that this was like this insane 6-month cycle. In 2006, we had 2 campaigns come out. You know, these were full-size, expansion-size things that we had released. So they say remember Shiro and Cormier, and of course we only actually get the image representing 1, which is kind of funny to me that so much happened over these 2 friggin' tweets. We wait a while, we're now on the 20th. They say Eye of the North is released in 2007, and the bonus mission pack released shortly after, right towards the end of the year. And then they give us this little line here that says, her name is Gwen, and I believe that's actually some of the dialogue we get at the start of the bonus mission pack. For those of you guys who don't know what the bonus mission pack was, it's kind of like a very, very mini paid expansion, tiny thing, very small, that gave us basically 4 more missions in the game. Imagine like they were to release 4 more missions added to the game. Kind of think of it as the equivalent of half of Season 2's Living World, I guess, is pretty equivalent, except we bought this with real world money. And it kind of took us in the past, and we got to see a lot of the major events that had been referenced throughout all the previous campaigns and the expansion, but we hadn't seen. Then, they said, the 10th Anniversary Festival starts on Wednesday, until May 6th, with a little bit more than usual, they say. Now, this is pretty interesting. This screenshot shows that they were going to add something new to Guild Wars 1. This character over here, these are 4 Zaitian characters. Actually, there's some interesting speculation about where they came from and what they were hinting at. But this character never had any quests for us. And actually, you'll see here, they have a quest marker above their head. So, this kind of sets some people off. Unfortunately, not too much speculation. It kind of shows how small maybe now the community really is. But people were kind of noticing, wow, something could be coming to Guild Wars 1. Then the tweets keep coming. We've got a tweet of some kind of an icon here. This is one of the Zaitian tokens. Then they say on the 21st, we've got the next image, which was MOX. The Golem hero is added on September the 4th this year. This was one of the last big updates when Guild Wars was kind of in its prime, Guild Wars 1. This was just kind of a very small quest chain that came a long time after the bonus mission pack. And we're kind of really going through the... This represents like an entire year's worth of an update. Just one small quest chain. This is how little content we're really getting now. And then we get another interesting tweet. Are you ready for the Guild Wars 10th anniversary tomorrow? We get some inventory icons. These look a lot like items that were released for the game in something called the Wayfarers Reverie, which I'll talk about very shortly, but they are recolored. They are slightly different, so people were wondering what's going on. Here we get on April 23rd that Nicholas the Traveller started his Everlasting Travels. Huge feature. This was a character who would appear in a random new map every week. of real time, and he would be trading specific awesome loot and rewards unique to him for different trash items and trophy items you could find all around the world. So it was up to players every week to go through this massive world that was Guild Wars 1 to track him down, identify his location. This feature really wouldn't work in Guild Wars 2 because of the waypoints and how open and small really the game feels. But we'd track him down, we'd find him, figure out what he was looking for, and then you'd want to do every week, you'd go to a different area. It was kind of like a very early version of daily quests, except it was like weeklies, which we don't have in Guild Wars 2. And they say, actually, look, the festival is now live. Enjoy and let us know what you think. So players have been able to come in. The event is rolling. All the usual bonuses that we would find associated with the birthday event are happening. Characters that were made on the launch of the game will get their new birthday presents. And we can get, you know, the random loot and festive items dropping. But what about that character with the quest icon? So we here I am on my main, so we can actually head on over there. This is at Embark Beach. Again, an update that I haven't actually discussed on Twitter, so maybe they'll talk about that very soon. We can head to Embark Beach, to this boat, to see where these characters are. And you'll actually find that, yes, there has been something new added to the game. Now, this is very much in the spirit of the Wayfarers Reverie, which was another update that came just before Guild Wars 2 released. The Wayfarers Reverie was kind of a quest chain that encouraged you to explore all around the world, all the continents, and collect trophies, and at the end you'd get like a tormented weapon. I was actually unaware of this fact, but it then returned again in 2013. I completely missed this, and the Wayfarer Reverie, if you completed it in that year, actually had an additional reward of a summoning stone. I never knew about that, but that's a summoning stone that was infinite uses, could be used on a level 20 character, which is very rare for the game. It's the only one, and it would cost a skill point for each use, so they actually kind of added a skill point sync to the game through that Wayfarers Reverie. Really, really cool, but since then, obviously, we haven't seen anything. Well, now we can speak to Pelora, sworn to Earth, and she says, I hear there's a festival celebrating the birthday of the entire world going on. The world isn't anything without our memories, though, wouldn't you say? Journeys, quests, battles long ago. An adventurer like you must have so many wonderful tales of this world. If you happen to find yourself revisiting your adventures, show me proof of your favourite memory, and I'll share some of my own mementos with you. We can say, well, where can I find proof? She says, oh, I imagine you could find something by reliving some of your greatest missions across Tyria. She gives us 4 specific places here now. She says, the distant Shiver Peaks, the encroaching solitude of the echo-vowed forest, and biting sands of the desolation, the primal wilderness of the Maguma jungle. These regions surely hold precious memories for those who have adventured across them. Now, what I find really cool here, and maybe they're hinting, these 4 regions all seem kind of relevant for Guild Wars 2 at the moment. Maguma Jungle we're obviously going to very soon in GW2. Does this mean that ArenaNet also have their eyes on the Desolation / Crystal Desert for future stuff in Guild Wars 2? The Echo-Vowed Forest would point to Cantha, the distant Shiver Peaks, of course the Fire Shiver Peaks, and Jormag. I don't know, am I reading a little bit too far into it? Anyway, if you do actually go complete some missions in these areas while this event is live, you'll get your trophies. If you hand them to Sworn to Earth, she'll actually unlock an extra bank tab for you in the game. Now, this was previously completely unavailable to players of Guild Wars 1 during these days. Now, I'll go over to my bank here, because this is going to be a bit of a split video. I want to talk about the new thing that's come in the game, but also a little bit about my account. Now, if we go to my Junai storage here, this is our little storage we had in this game. You could pay for some extra slots, which I never did. This one over here on the right, though, this one called Anniversary Storage. The Anniversary Storage was, this tab was once called 4th Anniversary Storage. And the only way to get this golden looking tab here of extra bank space was if you played on the 4th anniversary of the game. It was only during that year. For subsequent years, it never was unlockable. Well, now, since it's the 10th year, as something special, if you do bring a trophy to that woman, she will unlock the Anniversary Storage for you now. It's no longer called the 4th Anniversary Storage, it's just the Anniversary Storage, and so now many players can get that, and I'm sure a lot of you new Guild Wars 2 guys who are coming back trying to get hold of Monuments points and stuff will actually appreciate this, hopefully, to some degree. So that's pretty cool. The other thing you can do with your trophies is they have added a new vendor here called the Ancient Anniversary Weaponsmith. So this guy is kind of a generic looking NPC, doesn't have a special name or anything. But if we speak to him, he says the world's birthday, and it's not just any ordinary anniversary. The world is unfathomably old today. If you'd like a memento of this auspicious occasion, bring me a few proofs of legend awarded by completing missions in each region of Tyria. In return, I will create for you these customized tools befitting a legend. There is actually a new weapon set that's been added to the game. I haven't done these missions just yet, so I don't really know how good these skins are. Can't even find any screenshots really online of people talking about what they look like. But this is the Decade weapon set. You can see also we can go for a Blessing of War if we wish, and the Blessing of War can then be traded to the Zaitian Weapon Masters, who will give you some Balthazar weapons, which I believe are already in the game. I might be wrong. I don't know. These later updates I'm not so much an expert on. But here we do have the new Decade skin. We've got the Decade axes, the Decade bow, daggers, hammer, the rods for the various different professions. So this one's the Mesmer one, this one's the Necromancer one, this one's the Elementalist one. And then we've got the scythe, the spear, the staff, well, both staffs, sorry, and then finally a sword. They've all got pretty good stats on them as well, as far as I remember. This is kind of a new thing here. Deals 20% more damage during festival events. That is certainly something quite new, and pretty potent also, actually does. It would end up meaning you're doing higher numbers in GW1 now than you ever have been capable of before, because that's such a big buff. I kind of like that they're going with these special kind of more crazy things now that the game's, you know, winding down. And also the other thing I find myself kind of curious about is the name of these. So the axe is called Rival Skies, Falling Star, High Noon, Roaring Earth, All the World, Undying Service, Antipode, Alloy, Funeral Fang, Mist Piercer, Astral Pillar, Underworld Pillar, and Distant Horizon. What are these? Are these just supposed to sound cool? Do they hold some significance perhaps to some devs? Are they something to do with the story? I don't know. They sound a lot like Code and Sanctuary names, you know, like Rival Skies, Falling Star, right? High Noon. They all sound like that. But, you know, there's no real reason to believe that this has anything to do with the Kodan. But yeah, so this is the new weapon set. This is what they've done with Guild Wars 1. I did want to take this opportunity as well. I was going to wait a little bit for this video, but I don't really think it's going to be worth it. I'm going to offer something a little bit special to you guys as well. I mentioned this quite recently. At the end of my Eye of the North Let's Play, I talked very intently, I suppose, about how I would always felt I'd played way too much Guild Wars 1, right? Way too much of this game. And I'd always seen my hours as maybe even something to be kind of ashamed of. You know, you spend so much time in a game, and what do you get from it? So one reason I ever really got into YouTube and started doing that old Guild Wars 1 Let's Play was because I wanted to make good use of the time I had sunk in this entertainment. And I would say, you know, in retrospect, things have panned out really quite nicely for me, and I'm pretty happy with the way things turned out. However, I do actually have quite a few hours in Guild Wars 1. Across all characters, I have played for 6,484 hours in this game. Actually, half of that has been accumulated purely on this one character who's never really appeared on YouTube in any of my videos. This is my Mesmer. This guy is my main. This is who you'll occasionally hear me talking about, even in reference to Guild Wars 2 videos lately. So I spent quite a lot of hours in this game. Something really caught me by surprise when I started doing the Jungle Tour videos very recently, and that's that my Guild Wars 2 hours are pretty much caught up exactly to Guild Wars 1 now. So to all of you guys who kind of found Wooden Potatoes, found me through Guild Wars 2, you've always viewed me as kind of a primarily Guild Wars 2 kind of guy. Maybe this will blow your mind a little. I still don't, by about a margin of 200 hours, have more hours in Guild Wars 2 than I have in Guild Wars 1. I still have primarily more played the first game. However, that's going to be a pretty huge milestone for me. Very shortly, in about 200 hours, I will actually finally overtake my Guild Wars 1 time in Guild Wars 2, and that is a bizarre, crazy thought to me. Obviously, this game's been out for 10 years now. Guild Wars 2's just hitting its 3rd anniversary. Really, Guild Wars 1 I never played much after the 4th or even 5th year, to be honest, but it is certainly a very, very interesting perspective. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, you know, that I've got quite a lot of stuff on this old account that I don't really need anymore. So I thought I'd open something up to you guys. I thought I'd do something of an account tour. I did an account tour of my Guild Wars 2 account very recently, just as the year turned. I'll show you guys what my Guild Wars 1 account looks like just a little. So these are all the old titles that we could once get. The title I'm most proud of here is Grandmaster Treasure Hunter, which was 10,000 chests, 10,000 lockpicks. I actually remember grinding this out for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it was painful and it was expensive, and it's the most grindy thing I think I've ever done in a video game. In fact, I spent the entire time listening to just one album, and that's the debut album of Alexis on Fire. And now whenever I hear their songs, I'm always like, I remember one specific area in this far Shiver Peaks where I was running along grabbing frigging Grandmaster chests. So that's pretty cool. A lot of the other ones are quite standard titles that I ended up going for to get my God Walking Amongst Immortals. I actually had all this done before the Hall of Monument calculator even existed. One thing, I was always a Luxon rather than a Kurzik, really, although I identify more with the Kurziks now. But I never finished either of their title tracks. You'll notice Allies, the Kurziks isn't very high, and neither is Luxon. I never really grinded those out. I got the Treasure Hunter title instead. Though I enjoyed Heroes Ascent a whole ton, I actually have barely any fame at all. I only have 111, and I usually failed whenever I went in there because I never had a guild for it, and I mostly pugged. So I guess that's really all you can do for an account tour in GW1. That and my bank. So I don't really have much gold left on me. Guild Wars 1 never had gold, silver, and copper. It just had gold, and then 1,000 gold was a platinum. That's why you will sometimes hear me in Guild Wars 2 saying, oh, I wish they'd had platinum back, you know, like it would be really cool if we got platinum when we had 1,000 gold in Guild Wars 2. So I don't really have too much. But in terms of the items I have a whole bunch of mini pets. Some of them pretty cool mini pets too. Not all these are dedicated, as you can see here. I also have a whole ton of items on my various characters. So here I have 2 birthday present vouchers, so I can trade these in for any mini pet I want in the game. As well as a whole bunch of other things. You can actually dye your bags in Guild Wars 1 as well. These 3 green bags on my main have been green since maybe the first 3 months of me ever playing the game, and they have always been like that ever since. This char bag is a very rare thing you could only find in pre-searing Ascalon, which I went to a lot of effort to be able to get. And of course we got the heavy equipment packs they added later. We've got some very old armors here that I used to be very proud of. I used to work very hard on the way that my toons looked, because, you know, that was Guild Wars 1 to spend so long. This wasn't my only character. I also spent a lot of time on my assassin. Anyway, to go further through some of my tabs, I got a whole bunch of gemstones from when I used to farm the Domain of Anguish. I've also got a few Zaician mission things. I've even got a whole bunch of lockpicks. This tab here is my old dye collection. I've still got 12 black dye, a whole bunch of white dye. These were worth a reasonable amount. We got some tomes here as well. The reason I'm showing you guys this stuff is because I'm actually going to give it away. I'm going to log periodically into Guild Wars 1, and if you guys ever see me online in Guild Wars 1 from this point forwards, you might just get a special little something. I figure it's a cool little way of incentivizing people to come back. If you want your God walking amongst my immortals, if you want those cool titles in Guild Wars 2, then certainly this could be a cool opportunity for you. And since I'm not really using this stuff, I figured it might be a nice thing to go for. And lastly, of course, I do also have quite a few ectos. So this was hard earned and has never really been spent. So I have almost 1,000 ectoplasm here, just shy of 1,000 ectoplasm. Ectos in Guild Wars 1 are worth a fair amount of money. This could get you a lot of progress on your Guild Wars 1 Hall of Monuments stuff. So if anyone's been interested, also have a couple of everlasting tonics. That's kind of what I'm offering to you guys. I will be periodically logging in. If you want someone to play with, feel free to use the comments down below to find a friend. Guild Wars 1 is a fun game, mostly if you have someone else to play with. So if you're looking forward to the idea of playing, if you want to get some of this old stuff, experience all those old stories, I would very much suggest find a friend, at least one other person, and then just play through, sweep it from Prophecies all the way through to Eye of the North. And any of you guys that I catch, if you leave your in-game names down there in the comment section, you've got a pretty good chance of when I log in, I'll look through those people, and I'll start doing some giveaways and give you guys and help people out. I think that'd be something pretty fun, and anything to incentivize some old people to come back to this game. I know a lot of people are close to the next Guild Wars 1 reward. I'll just click through that crate there, and maybe this will help you out just a little bit. But yeah, so there you go, guys. A little bit premature. Maybe I would have liked this to have been when I finally overtook Guild Wars 1 on my Guild Wars 2 account. But that's pretty much a wrap. So there you go. The anniversary is going. We get loads of benefits. We've got some new quests. It can be a better time to play GW1, right? Thanks very much for watching, guys. That's pretty much it for today. I hope you're enjoying, and I guess I'll see you. Oh, here we go. And I guess I'll see you tomorrow.